Quiet on set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let's Poddy podcast with your host, Benji Weatherly. It's the podcast where you learn absolutely nothing.
I want to take a minute to thank Let's Poddy's newest sponsor, Ponto Footwear. I can't think of a better shoe to take me through my day here in SoCal. The Ponto Pacific fits like a sneaker, but looks more like a dress shoe. I can wear them from the golf course, to a business meeting, even to the bar. They're slip-resistant, water-resistant, and perfect for everyday wear. Use our code PODDY15 for 15% off your order at pontofootwear.com. 3, 2, 1, 7, 8, 10. Here we go. Welcome to Let's Poddy again. I have an amazing guest today. I'm excited because I'm a huge golfer. When I say that, it's because I'm 230 almost, and I like to golf. So I'm a huge golfer that eats too much and drinks too much. But more than anything, one of the pretty much prolific golfers in San Diego is my guest today. His name's John Ashworth, and I'm very, very grateful that he cut his beard because you wouldn't even have been able to see him like a couple months ago. He had what's our old golfer?
Old Tom Morris.
Old Tom Morris.
One of my idols.
One of them. I mean, he was from the late 1800s. Am I right?
Yeah. He was kind of mid 1800s. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was one of the very first championship golfers.
He was a pioneer. Yeah. He was a golf course architect. He's kind of the original gangster for sure.
And was he the St. Andrews designer? Who did that one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Mother Nature was, but yeah, no, he has his hands on a lot of famous golf courses, and I think he might have been he was
first champion.
He was in the first group of people that played, for the Open Championship. Right. He might have been the first one that won it. I should know that, but he's definitely won it.
Yeah,
a time or two.
And that was when the clubs were bamboo and
they were hickory.
Excuse me. And then the balls were made. What were the balls made of back in those days?
It was feathery. They were made like it was actually one top hat full of feathers stuffed in a little leather case sewn by hand. It would take a person nearly one day to make a golf ball.
Oh, imagine slicing that thing out of bounds real quick.
Oh, yeah. No, they were precious. They were way more precious than they are today. Yeah.
It was like the first baladas. Those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ball back then should be used by Tiger and those guys at the Open just for like a fun round to see how they could do it.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I wonder if that thing moved easier because it was
like I don't know. It would have been weird, and there wasn't that much golf back then. Obviously, because of that, golf didn't start booming until what they call the gutta percha, which a guy came up with. I want to say it was about, it was late 1800s where they came up with a gutta percha, which was a rubber.
Like a coating over the ball?
From Africa, yeah. It was, and they could shape it into a round ball. And
did they have divots back or the little?
It went through a lot of iterations. They had little patterns on it. It wasn't really dimples, but it was, and then it kind of took off from there because it was cheaper, easier to make, all that stuff.
What about? Are you a collector of old memorabilia stuff? Do you have that
really? I'm not a big collector guy.
It seems like you would have those old clubs.
I do have a set of hickory clubs.
Cool.
I have a set of hickory clubs. I do play persimmon woods most of the time at the Goat. And
persimmon woods.
And I have metal clubs too. I kind of do the whole gambit. Depends on where I'm playing.
The persimmons, I didn't know until recently. I just thought they were called woods, but they're the old wooden, like Jack Nicklaus would have won all his majors. I would think.
Sure. Yeah, all his majors.
All of them with a wooden. Persimmons is a type of wood.
It is a type of wood. It's a hard wood that they use to make clubs. Really fine persimmon woods, which, by the way, Fred Couples won the Masters in 1992 with persimmon wood.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite golfers.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did well, for one, you're a local. You grew up in Escondido.
Grew up in Escondido, yeah.
Escondido. And when you were a little kid, what were you, a surfer or anything in the water or skating?
I actually didn't surf when I was a kid. I had a lot of buddies that were surfers. I body surfed a lot. I didn't board surf, But I was pretty dedicated to golf even as a little kid, you know.
Oh, early.
And I grew up in Escondido. It was hard to get to the coast when, you know.
Back then, it would have
back
been
in those
really
days.
hard.
Yeah.
Did you start golfing at a really young age?
I did. I was about 8 years old. And it was funny because my dad was a big golfer. He played all the time. He was a teacher, very middle class. Mom was a nurse. Dad was a teacher. They had 6 kids. I was one of 6. I was number 5. Kind of got lost in the shuffle, you know, a little bit. But was a big jock. Played all the sports and stuff. And then I've told this story before, so apologize if you heard it. But my mom got kind of fed up and was like, on Sunday school, you're going to go to church. You're going to go to Sunday school.
She was fed up with the way you were
acting. Fed up,
with,
you know, I was always gone
getting in
doing
trouble?
stuff. Yeah, getting in trouble. So she had this kick, and I went to Sunday school, and I just absolutely couldn't stand it. And so she made a deal with my dad. So I had the choice. I either went to Sunday school, or I went and caddied for my dad in his regular every Sunday foursome. And I was like, sign me up, I'm in. You know, so that's how
a quarter to you, like caddy.
Yeah, so that's how.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, right. So that's how I got into it.
Did you think, like, were you in high school yet when you were doing that?
Oh,
or you're
no,
still
I was
elementary?
8 years old.
8. Okay, when you were caddying, you're only 8.
From my dad, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it really was kind of like a little Caddyshack beginnings for you.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So after you caddy for him, were you like, can I hit it? I mean,
yeah, I think a little bit, yeah. You know, and then I watched him and his buddies play, and they were good single digit golfers, probably between 4 and 8 handicap. You know, kind of, but they had a great time. They were competitive, but had a good time with each other, and then. So I got to see that. I got to be outside, and it was really.
And your dad was balling out, like he was really good.
Yeah, I was 4 handicap at the time.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, you know, get to watch good players and how they interact and how they kind of the etiquette of the game and the sportsmanship and all those great virtues that are built into the game. And so I kind of got hooked. And then I'd watch it on TV, even at a young age. I'd watch, you know, Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and those guys play.
And the Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that show. So I think as a kid, you can imitate, right?
Right.
So I would just imitate these guys, and I got to be good as a kid. I was a pretty good golfer. You know?
When did your dad say, hey, you know what, you don't have to carry the bag. Why don't you play with me and like let's battle? When did that start?
I think you know, I probably caddied for him for a year or 2, and then I was kind of on my own, you know, doing my thing. Yeah.
And
I remember the first time I beat him. I think I was 12 years old.
Nah, must have drove him.
It was San Luis Rey. Did you ever play San Luis Rey?
San Luis Rey. I remember that.
Yeah, it's no longer there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
But I remember that.
Yeah.
And that was where your dad was. Were there members back then? Or was
it was kind of a public course, but they had a little club that their guy, you know, semi-private kind of deal.
So in high school, did you keep on trucking down that path?
Played in high school golf. But, you know, back then, though, I mean, you were such a goober if you played golf, right? You didn't really tell people.
No, totally.
So a lot of my buddies were surfers, so it was way cooler to be a surfer. You know?
You don't understand, like that was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
As a kid, it was growing up in Hawaii, I had the skinniest legs on planet Earth, and I wore pants to school, even in like late spring and summer, where people are like, it's 900 degrees, what are you doing? I'm like, no one's looking at these legs. And then the other thing that I never wanted people to know is that I golfed. I was on the Kahuku golf team for like a minute. And when we started traveling on tour and stuff, Kelly, all those guys were like, what's in your bag? Because I'd bring like Mizuno blades, but like 3 of them, only like the odds. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, just nothing. I was so embarrassed to tell people I golf because all surfers are like, golfers? Now they actually have a tour on the surf tour about golf. They're called the Golf Geeks, which you probably met a bunch of those guys, right? All those pros, the Julian Wilsons stuff.
I've met them, and it's so funny because I was the same growing up. I didn't tell anybody I played golf. I didn't. And again, I got into the clothing business kind of because I hated the way golf clothes were back then.
Yeah. They were horrible.
They were horrible, and I also knew that. Because they were so horrible was why golf kind of had a bad reputation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Judge Smails was what everyone looked like.
So my whole
No disrespect to
my
Shrooms.
whole aim and goal in life was to try to make golf cool, so people could understand that it was really cool. You weren't a nerd if you played golf. You know.
I know.
So,
Took that one guy from L.A., Long Beach, to really go like, hold my beer. Tiger Woods. You know, before that, Freddie was cool as hell, but yeah, he even had a little bit of a dorky kind of clothing vibe. But I don't want to skip too far ahead, but I want to say his last name is Ashworth. And if you're a golfer, I want to say one of the very first brands that I heard of when I was starting as a teenager. And how did that come about? Like, what year was that? When you were
that was like 1986, you know, and I actually caddied on the tour for about a year.
I didn't know that.
84. And
that's the year you were starting the
No,
brand?
I started the company in 86 because I had met the guy that I caddied for was Mark Wiebe. We grew up in Escondido together.
Wiebe, I've heard that.
And he was going, you know, I knew I wasn't good enough. I played in college, but I was like, I don't have the chops to be a tour pro. I didn't really want to.
Did you mess around with little tours?
Never did. I just thought, you know what, I'm good. I'm a good amateur. That's fine with me. I don't really want to be, you know. So, but I was bouncing around. I didn't really, I got my degree in agronomy because I thought I'd be in golf course design. I wanted to be around golf for sure. Because I love it. I love the game. I love the whole aspect of it. So, so Mark asked me to come caddy for him, which I said, yeah, I'm 23 years old, man. It sounds like fun.
Is this the PGA Tour?
Yeah, PGA Tour.
He was on the tour.
Well, we went to get his tour card. He went through
Q
school, and he'd never got his card. So I did that. It's 6 rounds of TPC Sawgrass.
You were caddying for him during the QS, but the qualifying.
Yeah.
That's the most stressful tournament for everyone out there. There's no scarier round. You do 6 rounds, and
TPC
everyone's fighting for
with
their
that
lives.
island green.
Yeah, totally.
6 rounds around that thing.
They just had that the other day.
Oh, I
That was
know.
cool.
So it's super edgy.
And you guys made it through that.
We made it. He finished about 20th. Got his PGA Tour card. So I went out and caddied for him for a year. I said to myself, I'm just going to do this for a year. It's like kind of like being with a circus and travel around the country and see everything. And so I committed to that, and we had a great time. He didn't make a lot of dough, you know.
But it was almost kind of like you getting your first crack at being a pro golfer too. I caddied for some guys, and it's insane.
It's insane. Yeah,
it's like the stress is still almost like their stress, but
Yeah.
you get to just kind of go like, don't screw this up to them.
Totally.
But so you guys got through that year, and then you're like, I think
we
I
got
might wanna
that
do
through
this.
that year, and he had a sponsor, and his sponsor and I became friends, and his sponsor asked me to go work for him in Denver. He was opening a sporting goods store, and he wanted me to help him, like, buy all the stuff and be the manager and all that stuff. It was kind of a high end, and they had golf, tennis, cycling, skiing.
Like a big 5, but
Kind
back
of,
in
but
the
a
day.
nicer big 5, yeah. So I said, sure. I went off and did that, and the economy back then was really bad. It was like 1985, and interest rate. You think interest rates are bad now? They were like 17%.
Oh my God.
It was a nightmare. So he ended up saying, look, he was a real good businessman, but he said, this isn't going to work. So if you help me close this up, and we'll start another company. And he said, what if you were going to do something? I'm 26 years old at the time. What would you do if you're going to start a company? And I said, well, golf clothes are terrible. I said, there's such a need for some hipper, kind of cooler, a little more natural clothing than kind of what's out there. And he said, bingo, man, that's a good idea. So we're kind of off we went. And it was funny because we were trying to come up with a name. We kind of had a concept of what we wanted to do. And he was like, well, and we couldn't come up with a very catchy name. And he said, well, why don't we call it Ashworth? He goes, you're going to be doing it. And it's kind of a cool name. It's sort of old school. And, and usually you kind of don't like your name. I was like, dude, no, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Like,
but what is that? Are you English?
English.
It is a really good name. From an outside view,
right.
it was. I could imagine you going.
I was
"Ugh."
going, oh God, but he's a crafty guy, so he's also thinking, well, if we call it Ashworth and use his name, he's going to work his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Totally. It's like
Probably
Bob
more.
Early.
Yeah,
he ain't
right.
gonna screw that up.
So kind of we decided on that. Off we went, and it's so funny enough. So playing in college and stuff, I knew that Fred was just kind of this. He was Fred, right? He had this sex appeal, and John Cook was sort of the same way. So when we started, I went and talked to those two guys and told them what we were doing, and they're going, "Sure, man." They came on board.
They did not have sponsors at the time?
They did, but
It
wasn't the same as it is now.
Yeah.
It was so different back then.
Yeah. Did you have to give them contracts with like actual
We
money?
did. We
behind
actually
it?
but we didn't have any cash, so we gave them stock in the company, and it ended up being a really good deal for them actually.
And when they started wearing the stuff, did it instantly make sales to start popping off, or did it take a while?
It was kind of gradual, but it definitely picked up speed. And then when Fred won the Masters, it kind of went crazy.
So this is 86 you started.
Yeah, we started in 86, so we had clothing maybe late 87 because it takes a while to get going.
Especially back then, probably.
87, yeah, and back then I don't even know how we did it, man. It was like,
Where's your guys' office? Did you have an office back then, or was it at your house?
I moved from Denver to downtown LA. Like, right, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was like, well, I got to either go to New York or LA. So I moved to LA because I felt more comfortable on the West Coast. And yeah, it was a school of hard knocks.
And then trying to fill orders. I mean, I've been around so many people that own clothing and apparel. It's all about getting the orders and then filling them and not screwing up on that first run, or they'll never order again. And I mean, you got through it, and just at 92. So this is 87. You're hitting stores 87. So 5 years later, you're bet. I'm still the GOAT. He's like the Tom Curran of golf, is what I called Freddie Couples. He wins the Masters. Are you there? Did you go to the Masters?
I actually didn't go then. I've been there a bunch of times, but I did not go that year.
Where do you watch it on TV?
Going,
is he going to take this down?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I got chicken skin because that must have been the highlight of your life.
Yeah. No,
what a cool moment.
Cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And did he have Ashworth blowing up?
Yeah,
man, that's
sure.
got to be the coolest feeling.
And it's funny you said about Fred, because, Fred, he was like in between a large and an extra large, but he wanted to wear it big, right?
They were wearing big stuff. They like big stuff.
But he kind of set that trend in a way, because I always wanted him to wear large because I thought it fit him perfect. But he liked to wear the extra large, and then everybody wanted to be like Fred, so everybody wore an extra size bigger.
And now it's the opposite. These guys are wearing Jack Johnson shirts, and they're all ripped.
It was crazy time.
I remember him.
That was crazy.
I can remember him wearing. He was probably the Lynx golf clubs back then.
Lynx golf clubs.
I remember he had that on the Masters, and he had Ashworth on his clothes. What a cool time in your life. Yeah. So how long was the Ashworth run?
For me, it was about an 11-year run.
It's like late or mid 90s. Late 90s.
We became a public company, and we had this huge. We went from like 0 to like 100 million in 10 years. And
who's trying to buy you at that point? It's got to be.
Well, we were a public company.
Greg Norman probably came in with his yacht and tried to run you over.
No, it was just weird, and it got kind of crazy, and I was not getting along. We hired a guy to come in to help us run the company, and him and I didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
That's all it always happens the same way.
Kind of went south, went south for me. So
it doesn't seem like it lasts long for anybody in that industry. Yeah. Eventually, someone comes in and shits all over your face and takes your business, and you're like, "Well, that was fun. I got to start something new."
Yeah.
So after that, and this is what year exactly? What year did you guys sell?
Well, we never really sold again because we were a public company. But it didn't. What's funny is I ended up leaving.
Yeah, you just
did a bunch of stuff and kind of came back around. The guy, and the board of directors called me up about 10 years later, almost to the day, and said, "Hey, we're having a lot of trouble. Could you come back and help us figure something out?" Like 2007.
Did you do the cardboard box with all your stuff and say, "Who's coming with me?" Or did you do any kind of like pack up and leave when you left? Anything cool like that? All right, it's my name, but I'm out.
Not really. It was weird. It was kind of not that dramatic. And I had really fallen in love with Scotland. Ooh. And I found this piece of land over there that was like right next to the home of the Honorable Company, Muirfield. Mm-hmm. And it was 2 golf courses that had disappeared over time, that were built back in the 1800s. And through like World War I, World War II, there were so many golf courses on this coast anyway, and they sort of went by the wayside. But the land was beautiful, and it was on this coastline that was just this historic links coastline. And I remember, have you played over there?
I have.
You played Gullen?
No.
Okay.
But this is late 90s.
It's late 90s, 98, 99.
And you're done with Ashworth, and
so
you're like, I'm going to do something
I
different.
had found this place, and I pitched our board. I go, look, if we could pull off a scene over there and bring these courses back and plant our flag in the ground.
Good thing Trump didn't know about that then.
I know. We could, we could leverage this to be just, it's a global brand then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a global brand. So they looked at me like I had 6 heads on my shoulders. Like,
this is when you were advising him when you came back in?
no, before I left.
Oh, okay. This is
This
before
was
you
before
left.
I
Okay,
left.
okay.
I was thinking,
Okay.
what's
how
next?
are we gonna make it
next?
What's
How
the
do we
next
go?
thing?
How do we go global? What's
Right.
next?
That's a really good idea.
I know. I thought so. They didn't think so.
So it
and
never
I
went-
was like, hey, I'm not asking you to fund it. I'll go find partners, but this is what I think we should do,
yeah.
and we should be behind this. And anyway, that's when they said, no, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I got to leave. So
Right.
I left. And then,
Did you end up spending any time in Scotland after that?
oh,
Like,
yeah,
just
I
take,
lived
like,
there for 2 years. I
Okay.
got full planning permission for bringing these golf courses back, a boutique hotel, 100 cottages. It was going to be like a little abandoned dunes. Because one of the things about Scotland is you go over there and the hotel experience isn't that great.
It's
right?
not at all. Not at all.
So
You share
anyway,
bathrooms.
that's a whole long story, but it was crazy.
So you went through
and
trying
it
to get this
actually-
project
and it's-
green-lighted.
It's all down on earth.
Uh-huh.
I ended up in the end kind of getting screwed by this local business guy, but that's life. And but the cool thing is, I did get planning permission for this whole thing, and they played the Scottish Open. Have you?
They
at
played it
one
out
of the
there?
golf courses.
Oh wow, that's a tip to your cap.
It's huge, right?
That's huge. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
So
the biggest tournament of their
I'm pretty
country.
proud of the fact that it's there and it's back and stuff. But then I don't know if you know, but I came back and did a gig with Bob McKnight at Quicksilver.
Yes, in fact, I got some of those clothes with
Fidra.
Ernie Els and Kelly
Ernie
had their
Els,
ads.
Yeah, Kelly and Ernie.
What was it called?
Called Fidra, because it was named after an island right off that coast of that place in Scotland.
I would have never known that unless you told me that.
And the reason why I thought it was a cool name is because there was one of the courses was called Fidra that disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And the backstory on that was the fact that this little village called Duralton, it was there were like, I don't know, 1,000 people in this village. And they built this 9-hole course for the village, just for them,
Out on this island.
just on the coast, of the
it.
island.
Mm-hmm.
And each family would take turns taking care of one of the holes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And there was no shop. It was just their recreation.
What an insane little community.
So that's so cool. And then that Fidra itself was where Robert Louis Stevenson, his father was a lighthouse keeper, and that was the island that supposedly was his inspiration for Treasure Island, because he'd go play on there and stuff.
This wasn't that guy that does the traveling show. Did he go out there and play it? The guy with he has a ponytail as well. The guy does, he's the traveling golfer guy on the Golf Channel. He's on the airplanes, actually, that show on the airplanes that you always see. He came out to one of those islands. I won't sidetrack this interview, but I've heard so many cool stories about out there, about how people took care of him, like the lighthouse guy would mow the lawn.
Yeah, right.
Incredible. And when you lived there, did you learn how to hit the ball low?
Oh,
or?
yeah.
You almost didn't even get off the ground.
Yeah. No, I love links golf.
It's so
best.
fun.
It's the best.
It's like living in Hawaii.
Yeah, totally.
And then, we're not
anyway.
going to go. Yeah, we're not going to go too far.
So
off
yeah.
topic.
So anyway, then I came back, and then it was really great timing. And Bob was a friend, and they wanted to grow through doing incubator brands, right?
But yeah, so after that, you get back and you sit down with Bob McKnight, and you're like, I got this project in Scotland, but this project over here can relate to it, but we'll come back to the States. And now you're living in probably Orange County?
No, I was actually commuting up to Quicksilver from Carlsbad.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
kind of
mission.
big
That's a mission.
commute. Yeah, big commute.
So, but when you put that on paper, you're like, look, I've already done Ashworth.
Yeah.
I already have a pretty much blueprint of how to get this thing done. Yeah. But then you're doing it with, instead of Freddie, you got Ernie, which are the two best guys ever.
Yeah.
You can't have two better swings.
No, I know.
And then so you sell them on the Fidra story, which is one of the coolest stories.
Yeah.
It's the sucky part is I didn't know. Yeah. Now I'm a big fan of a company that's gone, right?
I know.
She gone. But the coolest thing about what your story relates to what I try to tell people all the time is there's no story unless you start it. And the starting point for your companies, and you're almost green lighting this golf course architecture and all this stuff. And then later in life, we'll get to it. but you end up doing your dream. You get your course in the right town because it's your home and all the other stuff. So you got your Scotland green light down over here. But what I was getting at is it doesn't happen unless you go out and try it.
No, I mean, a lot of times you fail and you don't realize at the time, like, oh man, I'm failing.
Good thing it did fail sometimes, you know?
Totally. Yeah, you just never know, right? I mean,
so give me to Fidra.
Yeah. So we did that, and then you probably remember when Quicksilver bought Rosignol Ski Company, kind of like changed a lot of stuff, got really weird, and we were kind of like the baby out with the bathwater at the time because we were just getting started, and they went through a lot of gyrations, and anyway, ended up selling it to it's still a brand actually in Japan, oddly enough, because we had a Japanese distributor and they really liked the whole thing, and so they ended up buying Fidra, so it's still in Japan. But then I was kind of like, what am I? I was Mr. Mom for a while. I was kind of like taking care of my kids,
Which is kind of cool.
It was great.
Right.
I loved it. But then I thought, oh shit. I did the math. They were like, 4 and 6 or something like that, or 5 and 7, and I was like, I gotta go back to work eventually because I'm gonna run out of money.
Right.
So California is not the cheapest place to live. So, so then I got a call from Ashworth. They were in trouble and they were kind of upside down, and but then they eventually ended up selling it to Adidas. You asked who they?
2007. This is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they end up getting bought by Adidas.
By
Adidas.
And they ended up really tanking the brand. They didn't do a great job with it at all.
How many years did you just get? 2007.
I was there maybe for 1 or 2 years, couple years maybe. It wasn't big. I'm not great with big companies usually.
So then this leads us to almost modern time, up to date. What year did you decide? You know what? I'm going to go for my third golf apparel brand. And the cool part about it is it's kind of like you perfected it.
Well, you keep evolving, right? I mean, that's probably me.
He's very popular. Keep evolving. And what year did you?
And I love to do clothes anyway. And at this time now, my nephew Jeff Cunningham. We've done some stuff together. He's a really good fine artist, and he loves golf too. So we decided, let's try to take Link Soul in a little bit different direction and sort of try to merge. He's a big time surfer. I ended up getting into surfing and was a surfer over the years, especially with my kids growing up and stuff. But so let's really merge the golf and surf culture a little bit together, since we're from Carlsbad and Oceanside, and so that's kind of where Link Soul was born.
I remember hearing the name and I hated it.
Yeah,
I was like, it's so cheesy, and now it's just like, it's so weird how it works when you brand something.
Yeah.
Eventually, like Quicksilver, what a weird name.
Yeah, right.
Eventually, it's my favorite.
Yeah,
Billabong.
Yeah,
it's the name of a freaking water duck or some shit. But Link Soul, I was like, I don't really, And now, after time, because I was like, soul, what is this shit? And then after time, and not only do I wear that crap every single day, because you know what's cool about your brand? Not only do I love Link Soul now, the name is awesome. I fucking love it. But you sell to all the golf courses that I play. So when I go in there, I'm like, Turtle Bay shirt has Link Soul right here. And they're the only ones that fit my big, stupid body. And so I got like 10 Link Souls from all over the country, because every golf course I go, I'm like, I'm going to get your guy's shirt and says Link Soul.
Oh, nice. Thank you,
so
Benji.
you guys kill that.
Benji, I got a code for you too. I don't know when you want to put it on, but
yes, for sure.
Benji 25.
Benji 25 is my cut.
For your
we're living in the past, because I passed 25 kilos.
So it's 25% off of Link Soul stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I was telling him earlier that Dan Patrick is my favorite podcast. Every morning I listen to this jerk, and he always goes, I got my new Link Soul in the mail today. And he's always blowing you up, and it makes me smile every time. But so you get in here now, 2000, Link Soul's been around 6 years?
No.
Longer?
Yeah, 10.
Oh, wow. It's been that long? Jesus.
It's been pretty organic.
COVID kind of screwed up a few of those years.
Yeah.
So 10 years, I would say 2011.
Yeah.
Roughly. You start Link Soul. When does it happen? So this whole podcast has been linked up to my favorite thing that's happened in his life. It's really kind of changed the dynamic of the surf golf experience. because when I was a young kid, I couldn't afford going golfing around here. Not like I grew up in poverty, but I wasn't spending $50, $80 on rounds. And I'd always go to this little course in Oceanside that looks like Afghanistan, like during the war and after and stuff. It was, you would hit a golf ball at the first hole and you would just go, well, I hope it stops. Like, it's like it's dirt track that goes down to this like Afghanistan hole. And I'd always play it because it's called Goat Hill, just so you guys know. It was actually Center Park.
It was Center City Park, but all the locals called it Goat Hill.
Did it have a goat on their logo in the beginning?
It did.
No? It did?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Center Park in Oceanside, right in the center of Oceanside Boulevard. So it's right in the heart. And it was like $5 or something back in the early 90s when I started golfing. And you'd go there and be like, of course I'm going to Goat Hill. And eventually he finally got his like wish to purchase a golf course. And how did this all go down? I've known the whole story.
It just kind of came out of the blue. Basically,
is this before Link Solar?
It was kind of after we started, and I was a member at La Costa. I live over by La Costa, and I wouldn't go there that much. And here you're paying all this dues, and you play there once a month. It was like, and I was playing Goat Hill more, because all the guys at Link Soul, Jeff and some of the guys like to play there. So we'd go out. Same with you. We'd go out and pay $10 and play 9 holes, and it was like. It was terrible, but it was fun.
And you'd love seeing your friend miss the green by a foot and go like 4 hours down the hill.
Yeah.
It was my favorite. The one hole that you're
number 11.
3. One,
number 11.
2, 3.
There was a few of them, actually.
You got a hole
number 5.
Or no, someone got a hole and won the pro golfer.
Oh, number
Jeff.
5. Number 5, yeah. Number 9. There's a few of them.
There's so many great, but we were going to go too far into this. Yeah. But so where are you at when it?
So anyway, we could tell Oceanside, the city was kind of not really taking good care of it running into the ground because it's literally 75 acres with an ocean view. In California, that's at least $100 million piece of property, right?
Oh my God! Of course now
for development. So we could get the vibe that Oceanside was trying to redevelop it,
right?
And if they did that, they would have to go to a vote of the people because it was somewhat protected. So they put an RFP to get. And they got they got 4 or 5 really big time developers that were going to had their own schemes of mixed use, some
apartments, low end housing,
whatever. So we just got a wild hair up our butt and said, you know what, we can't just sit around. I'm from this area, San Luis Rey, where I learned to play, gone.
Yep.
Escondido Country Club, where I played high school golf, gone.
Wow. Are there homes on those courses now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're just a joke, right? So last minute, we put a very benevolent, simple plan in. Like, we're just going to save it. We're going to clean it up. We're going to be the home of the North County Junior Golf. We're going to do these great kids programs. Once you lose a green space, it never comes back.
Yeah.
So let's take this opportunity to, grab this, fix it up, and I never thought we'd get it, and all of a sudden, we did this whole Save Goat Hill thing. Kelly put a T-shirt on.
Totally.
Bill Murray put a T-shirt on. Adam Scott. Yeah. All these guys, and so we did this whole grassroots Save Goat Hill thing, and sure enough, went to the city council meeting, and the council was overwhelmed by, packed house. Everybody was on our side, so.
And they're all wearing the shirts.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance. So. We ended up, the mayor goes, okay, John, we're going to go with you, go work out the lease details, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going,
oh shit. Oh, no, I have to do this now?
Oh, my God. Now, I just wanted to look cool. I never thought we'd get it. Yeah, no, it was sort of like, Jesus Christ.
Little side note, when he was with the beard and the whole, you got to imagine, he looked like, I wish these people knew the movie Beverly Hills, where the Nick Nolte is the homeless guy. Remember that one? And it was, I'm driving in to go, and there's grass now, you guys. He's put grass. The thing that the people in Oceanside don't usually probably get is when someone gets the bid okayed and everything, and they say they're going to do stuff, they don't really do it. They throw like one tree and they just probably make money doing something else. He actually did it. And we're talking about thousands and thousands of square feet. Gosh, I can't even imagine how big is the whole property?
It's 75 acres.
75 acres. And he's put grass, trees, took down trees that shouldn't have been there. It's insane, but he did it with his own damn hands. We played golf, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm building that sand trap." I'm like, "Who's building it?" He's like, "I'm building it."
No, we have a I have a good. It's actually taken the whole community. It really. It's definitely.
Though, right?
I love it. It's definitely one of those. It takes a village.
Yeah.
It's taken our whole village.
Do you wake up every morning, a cup of coffee, and go, "I'm going to go work on the course right now"? It's got to be a cool feeling, though.
It's pretty fun.
This part in your life, you've already done everything under the sun, and now you get to go play your own golf course. Which it's probably Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and you are the only one to have your own golf course.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty fun in terms of. I love seeing people stoked.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a game once a week.
Oh yeah, we have a skins game on Friday. We've got a game on Saturday. It's just seeing people have fun and being outside. The world's such a crazy place, and it's half the time everybody's just freaking out.
And your guys' driving range is next level.
It's legit.
It's a beautiful driving range. You got the cool little bar there now.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole situation it's definitely brought a lot of surfer guys that weren't that into golf now. They always call me and they're like, "Hey, you want to go golf Goat Hill?" Like it's a thing now.
I didn't even know.
Oh, it's so cool. Even Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly loves it. I see Kelly.
He lives in San Clemente, and every single time he goes, "Hey, you want to golf?" I'm waiting to hear him say like the bridges and let's go to there. He's like, "Hey, meet me at the fucking Goat," and I'm always kind of like, "Is he really serious? He wants to go play the Goat?" But I think that shows a lot of respect to how much people respect you, especially the big time people like the Jeff Ogilvy's and the Aaron Badleys and all these professional golfers go to the Goat when they're here. When my era, I would beg a pro golfer just to go play it so I could see what would happen. I'd be like, "Look at this shit. Yeah. This is so fun, right?" And they're like, "What are we doing here?"
I know.
But what a cool experience. And the coolest part is it's the first project that you're giving back probably, and most of your projects are probably more inner, and that's outer. As weird as that sounds, and like the guys like Chewy Reyna and the people that grew up at Oceanside must just be so happy that you pulled this off.
Yeah.
And this is how long is the lease for a golf
course?
Well,
it's funny. We've been going for about almost 9 years, 8.5 years, and it's been one project after another, and it was pretty bleak in the beginning. It was sort of like, oh my God, it was pretty gnarly. And we still have a lot to do in my mind. I still have like this list of projects to do.
Is there no ending point?
Not really. Ends. And then I hope the big stuff's
getting there.
Yeah, getting there. But yeah, no, I've got basically the lease it's basically 50 years. So probably past
your life.
Most likely.
Well, you'll probably still be yelling at people. You'll get a little grumpier. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, "Get off the greens, Rick. We paid." Oh, all right. No, I'm sorry. What I was gonna say is, excuse me. Freddie Couples played there, and was that a trump card that you've always had since he's your boy, or you guys always been friends?
We've always been friends. So we wanted. I mean, my passion too is helping the kids, and teaching kids, golf. And
your kids golf?
They do. But the junior golf program we have, and we started a caddying leadership academy, which is really cool because I think if you learn the game of golf through being a caddy, you just have a whole different level of understanding. You've caddied.
Yeah, you can't have a better beginning.
No, yeah, and people teach these shy kids that are 13 to 17 years old. Now they can interrelate with an adult and kind of get on
etiquette.
Common ground.
You don't really learn etiquette anywhere else.
No. So we do this tournament once a year called the Wishbone Brawl, which is Xander Schauffele, number 5 in the world or whatever he is, top 10.
I heard about this. This is such a cool
amazing.
Day.
And we've
How
had
many years have you had it?
We've had 5 of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
So Xander's played in all of them. Dean Wilson, who's also a partner with me at Goat Hill, and we've had Charlie Hoffman, we've had Mike Weir.
And they always have like I got to interrupt for a second. Yeah. They always have a hole-in-one. It sounds like this is insane.
We've had 2 or 3 hole-in-ones.
Yeah, and the one Jeff Ogilvy got, I heard was the coolest. It's 18th or 9th.
It's the 9th hole. It's a playoff hole though.
It's a playoff hole, you guys. Sorry, we're gonna go golf geek right here, and it's a little par 3, but one of the coolest ones. It's like a little downhill, and it's like a stadium. I bet you guys had a bunch of people in that stadium.
We had at least 600-700 people there.
What? Oh, I didn't know that many people. I thought 60.
but last year we had like 1,200 people.
Oh my God!
We don't have any ropes. Oh my God! The guys hit persimmon woods.
Oh God! I gotta go watch
and we
this.
have last year we had 250 kids. Kids are free, so we had 250 kids. We probably had 75 dogs because we allowed dogs. We're dog friendly.
That's so rad.
And we had 1,200 people, and and it was crazy. But the year Ogilvy had the walk-off ace.
So they're on a playoff, you guys. You got to tell this story. And who's he playing off against? Dean Wilson, right?
It was Jeff Ogilvy and who was his partner? It was against Xander and.
So the thing's always a partnership, right?
It's
two guys.
Yeah, it's two on two. And it was Jeff Ogilvy and Chris Riley, who's the golf coach of USD.
No, he's a G.
He's a great guy.
He's amazing.
And anyway,
and he knocks this fucker in.
Yeah, Xander and Dean get up, hit it about 20 feet, and and actually Riley had been carrying Jeff the whole day, really, and then but Jeff get up, hits his wedge, and he hits it. I was one of the few people up there behind the group. There was only about a dozen of us.
You're on the tee?
Yeah, I was behind him on the tee. There was at least 600 people on the hill, and I'm watching. I remember saying, "Oh, this looks good. Get up a little," and then when it goes, bam! It hits the bottom of the hole.
It went right in.
It went right. Did not. It just hit the pin and the cup and and it made this huge. Everybody was like, "Whoa!" And then the ball stayed in. Everybody just freaked out. Yeah.
That's the best moment I've ever heard in my life. That is so cool.
We have a plaque there now.
You just watched the whole thing happen, going like, "That's right. That's old man Morris showing us what's up."
There was definitely a sign.
Oh man! And did you have to fix the cup?
Oh yeah, there was a whole deal in the
What
cup.
a cool way! And he just when we say walk off, that's it.
It's on YouTube.
Game over. I gotta watch it. I'm watching it.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I can only imagine all the geeks like Blair and all those guys losing their shit, running in circles and stuff.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the top moments of even almost better than the Freddie Couples winning Masters. That's a top moment right there.
That was a big moment. Yeah.
What a cool way for all of it to pay you back.
We were buzzing for
oh my god!
while,
was that the first year you guys did it, or was the fifth?
No? That was actually maybe I want to say the third. It was 2009. It was.
And then Freddie did the last one.
He did the last two. Fred's been the last. He went to the first one and he freaked out. He had so much fun. It's so different.
What time of year is it?
It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
I have to go.
It's the unicorn of golf events.
I'm so into that thing. I gotta come.
It's like having a barbecue in your backyard, but these guys come out.
And not to hate on the PGA Tour like they have been hated on enough, but they try to shut you guys down.
They did one year.
Paul Lego, good friend of ours, told me the whole story, how Fred got on the phone with the PGA, and he goes, "You know who this is?"
Yeah.
and just said, "We're playing golf for these kids. Like, this is for kids. Like, get out of here." I thought that was a good power move, and nice to see that it's all paying you back in the best way, not money, but just... I mean, 1,200 people showing up. What's it going to be, 100,000 soon? I mean, this is going to... Soon you're going to be like, okay, we're going to have to tune this thing
We
down.
actually probably can't take many more people than that.
Yeah. It's such a cool story, though. Your story so far in your life has been one of... I don't even know a better story in golf in Southern California than yours. And that's not to, like, toot your own horn, but... yeah, just a cool thing. And are we going to go with Link Soul and then get to a certain point and then pass the torch to one of your kids?
I don't know.
How old are your kids now?
No, they're 25 and 28.
Are they interested in the industry?
Yeah, one of them works with us. Yeah, Max is in the company, and then Luke's in animation up in LA. But no, I don't know. Take it day by day. It's it's the world's moving and shaking, and I love Link Soul. My real love is Goat Hill in terms of just, I love the community. I love being out on a golf course.
Does your wife golf?
She golfs a little bit, yeah.
She probably loves the fact that you have somewhere to go,
Yeah, it's like a farm. She calls me a farmer. I'm like a farmer.
The bunkers that you put in there with that, what is it, rubber? What is that stuff?
It's sod wall.
That stuff looks cool.
Assertive, yeah.
I got to go out and play there coming up in the next week or so. I'm going to hit you up.
Good, yeah, please do.
I know. How's our new Ponto shoes over there?
I love the Ponto shoes are great, man.
We're going to definitely do a co-op with Link Soul and Ponto, two local brands that would be pretty cool together. But yeah, I mean, we have to cut it short because he has so much work to do, and he has to be at City Hall. I actually got to go
to the City Hall for a meeting about the goat. Yeah.
Can you ask about my liquor license while you're there?
Oh, yeah, I will, yeah. But
what is this meeting?
Well, because we're going to put in one thing we don't have up there is food and beverage. So we're going to put in a little container scene. You've been to a place where they have containers and a kitchen and a container. And
so you guys are going to make some food up there too now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
You already have it set. Are you guys going to build? I never asked. Is the clubhouse going to change?
We're going to renovate a little bit, but we're not going to put the restaurant in there. We're going to build like you know where the putting green right next to the bathroom and the parking lot. Mm-hmm. That's going to go away, and we're going to build this little
hardest putting green ever.
We're going to build this cool little container scene.
That'd be cool.
That like faces the range and the ocean and everything.
You just have little tables and a little bar there. That's
cool.
going to be. So you're putting a bid in for beer and beverage and all that stuff, or has it been okayed?
The beer and wine should be no problem. I don't think I'm going to do an alcohol license.
Yeah. Beer and wine's fine there.
Yeah, I think so too. We have. I don't know. I don't want it to get too out of control.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. It's as long as you have like this. Remember the Caddyshack where Spalding comes up and asks for everything and gets nothing. Yeah, as long as you have that. I mean, that little vibe there has to stay the same, and that you've done such a good job.
No, I know it's got to be very goat hill. Yeah, I know.
I like that the police station down below went away too. It's like you came in, they're like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, totally.
But he has to go to the city and make sure that this course keeps getting better. And I'm so grateful to have you on. And it'll probably be like an annual thing since every year you got another crazy project that I want to hear about.
Come play.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, John Ashworth. You are my very first golf guest, which is kind of odd because everybody out there that's good friends with me know that I hate surfing. And golf is definitely my favorite thing to do nowadays because you don't drown and nothing eats you.
Right.
But thanks so much, and I really appreciate it.
Buddy.
And
good luck with everything.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And this definitely I'm gonna get canceled sooner or later.
Well, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel if you have me on. So
I love it.
It's only downhill.
He has the Rob Machado hair going. It's ponytailed up right now, but him and Rob have definitely the same vibe going on. I like it. And have good luck with the city, and I'll be in there next week begging for a liquor license for my restaurant.
Right on.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, you guys.
Okay.
Peace out.
Bye.